With you here, I am making a video to show you guys my bobber setup and why I do the different things for the bobbers, like different size hooks for drifting the eggs or just using a bobber setup. For steelhead, I use a bigger hook because we're throwing a shrimp on the bottom of those eggs sometimes, a sand shrimp that will go pump, and we get those live. I have a video that shows you how to find those and get the big ones. We're going to go over this bobber setup here and why you want to have this bait match, the bait and the weight. Everything under the bobber has to match this weight right here on your bobber. That's why these BOBBER bobbers are so cool. They have that weight on there. It gets you the right buoyancy. If you go down too far, it doesn't spring back and help you set the hook. The fish will pull it down, feel it, spit it out, and then you yank to set the hook. If it's up too far, it'll lay over like this and there'll be slack in the line, and the fish will feel it, stand your bobber up, and it won't help set the hook, and the fish will spit it out, you'll yank, and the fish is gone. So it's important to keep it right at that perfect level so it springs back and helps you set the hook before they can spit it out. So we're going to go over this stuff and also how to cut these weights, because we are using pencil lead for our weight on our bobber setup. I will explain why. Using those inline weights, I'm not sure how that got started, but if that weight goes under a rock, the whole setup is gone. Even if you have a bobber stop to keep that bobber from popping off, because it will just break your whole main line. And you're done. Even if you have a bumper on there, it'll break that bumper off and possibly at your main line. This is my new setup for my bobber fishing. I don't use these inline weights anymore, just like I don't use those round cannonballs. They're destructive. So your leader, you got a couple ways you can do this. We can run split shots down that leader, and the density of the split shot holds it back. And if you check your bobber up just a little bit, it keeps this floating out in front of it, just like this, so that your hook is in front and they see that before they see any of this leader weight. It'll kind of bend like that up to your bobber. Okay, the other way that you can do this is some people will use an egg weight, which is one of these little guys right here. These are BOBBER egg weights that I use, and it's just a little weight on there on your hook, and I go ahead and do it just like I do my cheaters. So it's right there in the clump of eggs, hidden and concealed, and it's weighted, so it holds that down there for you, and you know, kind of keeps it to where they, you know, to me it still might see that line first. I like using the lead, because the lead weight right here, a small split shot and bigger makes it actually bow towards the fish and presents that bait first. The weight on the bobber is very important. So we have a 0.5 weight right here, and if you look close, and I've got this measured out at, it's that length right there, it's 0.4. With this swivel, it goes to about 0.45. Once I add some little weights right here, or a cheater weight, if I add a cheater weight and some eggs, or this setup with the hook and some of these split shot, that's going to take up about a 1/4 ounce, and I've got 3/4 ounce on this bobber. What that means is, if I have 3/4 ounce on this bobber, it's going to float perfectly right in this white line right here. And you don't want to go too far up into this red, because if it gets too low, that bobber is not going to have any buoyancy. When the fish pulls on it, it's going to sink down and they won't have it in their mouth very good. And if that happens, they just spit it out and you yank, no fish. If you don't have enough weight on there, it'll do this and lay over, and there's slack in the line. See that slack I just pulled out? So again, they'll get it in their mouth, pull the slack out, spit it, you yank, and no fish. So it's important to keep the buoyancy right about in here, so when they yank down, this yanks back like that, and it sets the hook, and then you pull. As soon as it goes down, yank and pull and set the hook, and the bobber's in the middle of helping you do that. So it's very important. When you see that bobber go down, that bobber is setting the hook already, and then you're yanking and setting the hook harder. So don't kid yourself, and don't let your bobbers lay on their sides or go too far in there. That's what this weight is for. So if you don't have a weight, get it to where it's floating just past that halfway, almost to 3/4 of the way. If you get all the way up to that 1/4 of the end, it's not working right, guys, okay? And this is a BOBBER 3/4 ounce. And when our weight's on here, we're gonna be set up to catch some fish. Have a look. Got his first one. Nice coho on the eggs. Take your time. Just bring them into the net like we always do. I won't dig at them. I want you to just nice and slow, Pablo. Nice and easy, bud. Keep the rod bent. Subscribe. You hit the notifications in the settings on YouTube and on the device that you're watching.